Good evening and thank you for joining us for KREM 2 News at 6 tonight. I'm Mark Hanrahan.
And I'm Whitney Ward. We begin tonight as strong winds continue to push through the Spokane and Coeur d'Alene areas.
There have already been reports of hundreds of customers without power in Welpinit and St. Mary's. It's been windy pretty much all day across the region. The wind advisory is in place for about another hour or so until about 7 o'clock tonight.
Now, the Spokane Fire Department reminding you loose items might need to be stored inside. Bigger items like trash cans and even patio furniture can blow around, potentially causing damage. And remember, trees and power lines can come down even if the wind doesn't seem that strong where you are. If you ever come across downed lines, remember, don't ever drive across them. And just a few hours ago, there were more than 3,000 Avista customers without power across eastern Washington and North Idaho. That number now down to about 1,000. The biggest outages seem to be in the Hayden and Welpinit areas. And
it looks like we'll still have a few more hours of gusty conditions and then tomorrow as well. Let's get straight to KREM 2's meteorologist Michelle Boss joining us here in the studio tonight. Michelle, how strong of wind gusts can we expect and are they going to last throughout the night?
So we are going to see those winds come down later this evening and overnight. We'll see maximum wind gust overnight of around 35 miles per hour, but we've seen gusts over 40 miles per hour earlier this afternoon. 41 miles per hour at the Spokane Airport, 51 miles per hour in Post Falls, 48 miles an hour in Chelan, and the Spokane Valley, 43 mile per hour gust. As we take a look at the current wind speed, just the sustained winds are pretty strong. As you've been out, if you spend any time outside, you certainly felt it. 23 mile per hour sustained winds. Again, it's going to remain windy all night, but those strongest wind gusts are going to settle down briefly, but do not think it's over yet because stronger winds are coming back tomorrow, and so we are going to have a high wind watch for tomorrow. Temperatures are going to stay mild as well. We were in the upper 50s and lower 60s today. The high wind watch goes into effect tomorrow afternoon and evening, expecting the strongest winds between 4 and 8 p.m. And for this next round, we could see wind gusts in excess of 50 miles per hour. Of course, the wind has been the main weather story today. Not much rain out there. Most of the wet weather across the higher terrain in the Cascades. So we're looking at cloudy skies overnight, very mild temperatures. We may not get much below upper 40s tonight. Another windy day for tomorrow, highs near 60 again, and then a big cool down for Tuesday, highs going from near 60 down into the lower 40s.
All right, Michelle, thank you. And if it is safe, you can text us your pictures and videos of wind damage in your area. Just send those to 509-448-2000. Our other top story tonight, the Seahawks and the return of Russell Wilson. They took on Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers.
Bit of a doozy of a game tonight. Hawks fans obviously had huge expectations after Wilson's quicker than expected return. KREM 2 Sports Director Brenna Green joining us. Brenna, those expectations a bit too big apparently.
Yeah, in a game that featured no shortage of quarterback storylines between Russ returning from injury and Rodgers returning from COVID, neither of them really had exceptional nights in this 17-0 loss for Seattle. But let's focus on Russ because he is the one we all care about. And he had a much worse outing than Rodgers. Wilson just could not get it going. It was part of Russell problem, part of protection issue. Russ finished 20 of 40 for 133 yards and 2 interceptions. He only averaged 40 yards per pass, which is not great. Or excuse me, 4 yards per pass. 40 yards would be awesome. Wilson just didn't feel like he got comfortable all day as he was hit 4 times, 3 of which were sacks. To put it simply, Russ looked, well, rusty. This was the first time in Russell Wilson's career that he was shut out, so I think that illustrates how bad of a game this was. Both Carroll and Russ insisted post-game that Russ wasn't injured. He's firing on all cylinders.
I know you're wondering, was he ready and all that kind of stuff. He was ready to play, and there's nothing else. There's no other information leading into this could tell us any different. He was pumped and got after it and all that, and they did a nice job tonight. They're a good defense. We couldn't get enough going on to make the points we needed.
I know myself really well and know, what I can and can't do and everything else, and feel like I could do everything tonight, and had some runs. In the first third down, for example, if I was second guessing my hand. We can go for that, getting hit like that, So I felt confident in my hand. I felt confident in all the hard work. It was just a bad game in those 2 plays, really.
2 plays he's referring to, by the way, were the 2 interceptions. Another startling thing for the Hawks today was their lack of a rushing attack. You would imagine with a quarterback coming off an injury that directly impacts throwing, they would rely heavily on the run game. That did not happen. The Seahawks only handed it off 11 times in this game. Their running backs totaled for 43 yards. You add in Wilson's scramble yards, and the Hawks had 75 rushing yards overall. Just a bizarre plan when Russ even though he said it there, he felt like he was good. to me, he repeatedly proved throughout this game that he wasn't exactly 100%. The Seahawks defense did everything they could, though, to keep the Hawks in this contest, including a huge third-and-goal interception of Rodgers in the third quarter. Green Bay got into the red zone 5 times and only came away with 2 touchdowns and 1 field goal. Now, of course, you could say that Green Bay shouldn't have gotten into the red zone at all, but generally, I think this was a pretty good performance for both of Green Bay's touchdowns came in the fourth quarter. So the Seahawks offense had plenty of time to stay in this thing. They just couldn't do it. Pete Carroll was effusive of his defense post-game.
Yeah, we're playing really good football, and I made a statement to those guys yesterday about that and cited all of the areas that we've been playing so well in, and you know, it's just the truth. We tell the truth on Monday, we tell the truth on Saturday this week, and they went out there and played like crazy all night long, and I was really, really proud of the way they got after it.
It's got to be one of the most frustrating seasons Carroll has ever had as a head coach right now.
Tonight, it certainly seemed like the defense was on the field the entire time for the Seahawks, right?
Yeah,
Not
it was
normal.
It was a grinding game. There was nothing that was exciting about it. It was just a grinded out affair. It was like 25 degrees in Green Bay.
Yeah.
Hey, something to build on perhaps for next week.
There's that.
Well, I mean, hopefully it's not 25 degrees.
Exactly, yes.
I don't even know where the Seahawks are playing next week, to be honest with you. But wherever they're going, let's hope it's not. Or if
warmer.
it's in Seattle, let's hope it's not 25 degrees.
Right.
Speaking of Seattle, not a boring day in Montlake. Even if it all felt inevitable about a week ago. North Central and Eastern Washington alum Jimmy Lake is out as the Huskies head football coach. UW fell to FCS opponent Montana to begin this season and struggled to find their footing, especially on offense all year long. Lake went 4-5 this season as a head coach and 7-6 overall in his UW tenure. Get this, both Lake and Nick Rolovich hired in the same offseason. Neither of them will end up coaching in an Apple Cup, as last year's was canceled due to COVID within the Cougars program. Lake will receive his $10 million buyout, which was a bit in question after this incident on the sideline against Oregon 2 weeks ago that led to him being suspended for this week's game. He made contact with a player's helmet in an aggressive way here while he was careening in to break up that fight. There also was a report yesterday from the Seattle Times that while Jimmy was the Huskies defensive coordinator in 2019, he shoved a player at halftime. UW athletic director Jen Cohen said this in a statement. No one wanted Jimmy to succeed more than I when I hired him in 2019, but ultimately this change is necessary for a variety of reasons, both on the field and off. Depending upon what happens with Dickert, we could see 2 new head coaches in the state of Washington this offseason. It's going to be an interesting Apple Cup.
No kidding.
What an unbelievable turn of events that would lead us to the 2 big programs here in our state, both having these interim coaches and having so much turnover in that position.
And having both of them fired in season.
Yeah.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
I guess I'm looking forward to the game, though, right?
I don't think it's going to be boring.
Right. We'll see.
One way to put it.
Yeah.
Brendan, thank you.
All right, we want to get back to the NFL, talking about the Seahawks, because a local clothing brand is now collaborating with the Seahawks for some Pacific Northwest-themed merchandise. Spokane-based The Great P&W started selling Hawks brand merchandise late last month.
It's a big deal for the local company, as KREM 2's Ian Smay, he spoke to them about this opportunity and what it means for them.
Earlier this year, Joel Barber got an email from the Seattle Seahawks. He founded Spokane-based clothing company The Great P&W in 2013, but now he was about to land his first deal with the professional sports team.
We've always let people come to us, and so it was pretty awesome to see that. Like, oh, great, the Seahawks, they finally know who we are, and that was pretty awesome.
After submitting 20 designs, the Seahawks and the Great P&W landed on 6 final designs for hats, shirts, and sweatshirts. Starting on October 25th, the merchandise was on the shelves in the Pro Shop at Lumen Field and on the Great P&W's website. So far, Barber says it's been a big hit.
I know opening day we sold like 500 units. It was some of the best selling stuff in the Pro Shop. And people around town, even when they're seeing it, the feedback, and even on social media and Instagram, they're just so happy that this collaboration has happened. Especially our existing customers are just like, this is so awesome.
The collaboration goes for the rest of the season, and Barber hopes the collaboration will continue in future seasons. The success of the partnership with the Seahawks also has him hoping to expand their brand in the Seattle sports market in the future.
After this, we're obviously looking at Seattle Mariners, the Seattle Kraken, the Sounders. We really want to do more of these. They've been so fun. Our customers have really liked them. We're really being able to reach a new demographic that isn't our normal consumers.
In Spokane, Ian Smay, KREM 2 News.
Maybe some Christmas gift ideas right
Perfect timing.
There we go. All right, now to more of today's top stories. 5 people in the Hilliard neighborhood have been displaced after an early morning electrical fire, according to Spokane Fire. That fire started in the walls of the home at around 6:30 this morning. Firefighters quickly responded and they were able to contain it, so the house is not considered clearly a complete loss.
No, I didn't see no flames. I didn't see that. But my friend said that the whole basement from inside the walls was smoking. So like it was smoking from the outside or from the inside out.
While firefighters were able to contain the fire to one area, they say it is uninhabitable right now until repairs are made. All 5 people in that house are okay. They got out without any injuries.
Spokane public libraries remain closed today after threats were made online. Those threats were made over social media on Friday. The decision was then made to close those branches out of an abundance of caution for staff and the public as police investigate. Officers say those threats were violent and made to an unidentified library location. Branches are expected to reopen tomorrow, though, but with heightened security.
Well, stuck waiting. If you ever tried getting north or south through town, you have been there, stuck at a train crossing like this one, sometimes for extended periods of time. So coming up after the break, what state code says about how long those trains are supposed to delay traffic for and why that code is not being enforced. We're back after a quick break.